Ivy League Gaming here, and today we're playing Dragonheir Silent Gods. For today's video, I'm gonna do a how to beat guide versus Shai'Nachtan. So this video is gonna be more of a guide, less of a showcase per se. But I am going to run a team that is pretty budget friendly, actually. I've seen this team in a couple places now that I realized that the person in my Discord also found it from content creator or two. So we're going to run something pretty easy, but I am going to put my OP artifacts on it to try to pump up my damage, of course, because I want to rank. So that's just going to be the difference. But this video is not going to be about the gear, about the heroes, well, about the artifacts, about the fancy stuff. It's going to be about the utility of what the heroes are bringing to the fight, and and we're going to talk about how to counteract this boss, what his skills are, how to position the heroes as well, and yeah, some alternatives, both OP and not OP, for who to use in this fight. Alright, so first of all, Shai'Nachtan is weak against a necrotic for this boss challenge, so I wouldn't overly stress about the resistance because it's going to be really hard to put a ton of resistance on your people. You don't actually need it, honestly. So you can debuff cleanse the electrocuted, you can get rid of those, but you don't have to, per se, and we're going to talk about that. Alright, so coming on into our necrotic library here, I want to give some suggestions for this. If you want to have some fun with some legendaries, Dulk is actually pretty cool. He can reduce ultimate energy, which is really great against these bosses. That can come in handy with his ultimate. His attack penalty here with his battle skill is also very valuable, and he can kind of inflict a different type of attack penalty as well. It's a quirky one, but yeah, he's actually probably pretty solid here. And though he is a defense type hero, and you can use him as a tank per se, but you have to remember he's actually ranged. He's kind of weird as a tank. So there's some positioning that we're going to do with actually using Megan as a tank instead, a rare. So I just wanted to call him out because he's pretty cool. Quaesitia is very good as well for her, oh, not that one. For her ultimate energy reduction and her attack penalty, and then recharging speed penalty as well. But they're both a little bit harder to keep alive. I feel like you could actually build a better tank with the rare that we're going to use, because it totally makes sense, because you don't need, you don't need to worry about accuracy or damage on top of it. You just go pure HP and defense focused and keep them alive, and it's so much easier to throw stats at them. As far as others go, I guess Gulend is always good as a healer and DPS. You can't go wrong with this guy and his massive heals and dispelling of debuffs and attack penalty. If you have a Gulend, you're probably gonna use him. And Berenger has this cool reverse healing thing. That's really interesting, but yeah, he's always a solid tank for content, honestly. He really is. And he's really good against these bosses. When it comes to the summoners... Ripikas is also very good for this fight. He brings in a lot of ultimate energy and then a whole bunch of debuffs that he can place. A little bit more RNG, but it's pretty fun. And yeah, he gains extra healing there. So the summoners are pretty meh for this because the electrocuted is most likely going to kill the summons that come up anyway. If you do have, like, the Queen Bee Lawanis, you'll probably be in an okay spot, but I really wouldn't suggest a summoner team for this at all. Uteor, I have not tried personally, but if he was timed well, you probably could really save your allies with this Resurrection on Death. get an increased defense buff, especially if you're using someone who is based on defense for their skills. But he does bring attack penalty, which is helpful with the battle skill. I don't know that you want to rely on units dying to boost his energy, so that's kind of meh. And yeah, the defense aura is okay, but you probably use something else. So, I mean, they're okay, but again, it's all about the supports for the legendaries are all going to be very good. I forgot, I can't not include Torrid. He also grants invisibility and has this debuff immunity healing. He's amazing for this boss too. A lot of the legendaries are going to be, but I would say probably skip the summoners overall. Yeah. But really, it's all about these epics and the rares. I'm seeing some really cool combinations of these heroes. Questa is great. She reduces ultimate energy. She brings attack penalty. She kind of does it all. And she even like kind of can heal and stay alive better than most. The new girl, Kirza, is a queen. She's from Pillar, I think it was, right? She is so good against these bosses too. She makes a great Crown of Unclean or Witch's Remains candidate with a multi-hitter on her ultimate, which also brings attack penalty and recharging speed penalty. And then she also does a whole bunch of other fun stuff, like she comes back to her ultimate whenever an ally is inflicted with a debuff, which happens a lot. So she's going to be using this ultimate a lot. And then we have Zarloth, who is also very great for this. He can be a solid DPS, plus give him lots of attack, and he also helps to heal your allies. So, very good hero, plus he brings an attack aura, which is helpful. I've seen some people actually using Deverick in there as well, who brings attack penalty here, which is super helpful. Accuracy penalty isn't so bad. Dispelling of a buff is not bad, but that could be one that you try for sure. But I personally haven't invested in him this season. Healer-wise, Estella is okay, but not really the best for this. I've found if you have a ranged DPS, that is the one with the low HP. Gladros brings shields, and Irma brings damage mitigation, and she also does like hit recovery here. And yeah, control immunity, but we're not getting controlled, so less important for this boss, but an okay tank. Really, we're going to be talking about these rares. We're going to be using Megan here. I was really happy to see someone post this in my Discord, which I later found out it was from some other content creators is what they saw it from, but then they tweaked it to their own build. And yeah, Megan, she heals and boosts ultimate energy. She brings defense, recovery over time, defense penalty there. She can dispel if they put it up. We don't have to worry about that. But she doesn't need anything fancy. She doesn't need accuracy or enlightenment or any. She just needs to stay alive. So she's a great candidate to be the tank, which is what we are going to do today. And then Adri's actually the main DPS of my focus here because she doesn't need a lot of stats either. She's really easy to build. So her passive ignores 30% of resistance when an enemy is inflicted with debuffs, which the enemy is always going to have debuffs with all the people we got in this team. So she doesn't need that high of accuracy because, like, to land her recharging speed penalty or her accuracy penalty because of this amazing passive. And because she can have such low accuracy, like 120, 130, I think even, maybe 140 at the most. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the exact amount she needs exactly. I'm sorry. But she can really, I don't know, you could pump up her stats elsewhere, you know, give her good damage and be able to let her really crush with good crit rate and crit damage. And she'll really, really surprise you. So that's kind of who we're going to be using here. You could use Fitz as a tank if you really needed someone else, but I think the Megan strategy is a little bit better, though he can grab the debuffs and dispel them, or you can put resistance. He's okay for that idea, but honestly, he's more than likely going to die because you're going to want to build him with a bunch of resistance, and it's going to be hard to get him the stats he needs to be a really good tank. So, positioning. This is a big thing here. Alright, so we're going to bring in our people. Let's bring in our Kirza. Let's bring in our Adri. Zarloth is our other DPS. Questa is gonna be DPS. Those are two are gonna run into the boss. But what we're actually gonna be doing is drawing the boss over here with Megan. So this is the strategy for this positioning. Now, let's say you're not using Megan as your tank. Sorry, you already used her in your fire team instead. And you're using a more normal tank. If you're using a more normal tank, you can just bring in your melee units and you can just keep your ranged units anywhere in the back because the boss will not attack the back line with its ultimate at least. But at the end of the day, the rest of it is random, so you can't really control that. So this is going to draw the boss over there, which does affect the way that they do their skills. So this is really cool, and it is still a way to avoid the ultimate. The boss does put attack up, so dispelling a buff could also come in handy depending on who you got for that. But if you don't want to bring in, I mean, one thing I want to experiment with is bringing in Liko or Ferrara, the fire heroes that can dispel or prevent buffs, and see if that gives some extended life. So if they're people you already have built, you might want to play around with that idea too. But I really love this team. It's really cool. You do have to deal with all these random lightning effects, which does affect it for sure. But yeah, this is going to be our setup, and we're going to have an attack aura from Zarloth. This is the team I've seen quite a few people posting and sharing. I first saw it from Pip in my Discord, but he said he got it from a content creator. And then I saw another content creator in our Discord post a screenshot of it, and I'm like, wait, how does that work? How does that work? How are these people not getting hit? And then Gorax was like, oh yeah, I use that team too. So like, I know that a lot of people are running this, so it's probably kind of familiar, but we're going to use this as our example because it really can display how this is going to work. Now, this is not the kind of team that you are going to be able to speed to because there's so much ultimate energy reduction and boosting going on. When it gets to the end and things start to get scary, you could try to time some ultimates, but I really don't think you need to at the end of the day. You're kind of going to have to YOLO, but this is a good YOLO team at least. It's a really good YOLO team. Keep in mind, RNG is going to play a factor in this. It deals lightning damage to up to 2 random enemies. Lightning damage to up to 2 random enemies. And then, yeah, the big ultimate. So if this 2 random enemies hits the same person, boom, boom, it could take someone out a little bit sooner rather than if it hit 2 separate people. Keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to gear, we got to talk about gear and artifacts and what's also going to be valuable for these heroes. So I actually, I have Inventor or the, what is it? Executor? I forget the name of the dang set already because I don't have much of it. Which is why I realized I've never even tried it really before. But I was encouraged to really try that set from Pip, so I'm giving it a chance, and it's pretty cool. Adri's obviously doing a really good job being the main DPS. So that's good for the DPS. Questa can be in Inventor probably as well. Or that what is the name of that set? I have to look now. It's gonna drive me crazy. Hold on, it's gonna drive me crazy. While this runs, let me look up the name of that dang set. I'll have to go, oh, I mean, I'll click it afterward, but let's see here. Now I can't find it. Why can't I remember the name of it? It's gonna drive me nuts. It's gonna drive me nuts. I'll look afterward. Oh wait, here we go. Emperor, not Executor. I knew it started with an E. Last season had Executioner, which was in my head. Emperor. The Emperor set. We actually have higher attack than most of these bosses, which is something I didn't really think of. Or at least when you're doing a decreased attack buff, you definitely do. So you can get away with using that Emperor set. And see, we've already easily passed to stage 11. Right? Really easy peasy. Kirza here, she is in our Crown of Uncleaner, which is Remains, like I mentioned. She's really perfect for that. She's also in Cyril's set, so you get that attack buff. And then Megan is in our tank build. She has the... Ooh, she looks like she might die early. Oh no, maybe she got some bad luck there. We'll have to see what happens. I might have to beef up my Megan a little bit more. But she is also in ancestral protection, so she's taking the heat off the other girls up there that are the melee damage dealers that are gonna take some more hits like from the ultimate. But no, there comes Megan. She's doing all right. She's hanging in there. Here we go. Not so bad, right? I'm really impressed by this. I'm a little bit worried Megan's almost dying. I might need to beef her up a little bit more. I do have her in, I think, the needle or the spindle. What is it called? Needle? Why am I forgetting the names of everything today? The needle, to give her extra healing. When you heal one ally, she has a chance to heal another one, kind of thing. Oh, we had Adri die, so we did get some bad luck there. We had Adri die, but we're almost at 22 mil. We just want to hit that 22 mil. Come on, team. We can do it. Ah! It's getting so close. Just want to hit that 22 mil. Don't you dare die early. Don't you dare die early. No, Megan died. Ah, there we go. Oh my god. I will point out some other helpful artifacts as well. 22 mil. We did it though, guys. The last week, I tried to run better champions and really struggled, honestly, which is crazy, but it's true. I did not save this team either. And remember, if you go into a battle and you forget to save your team preset, you can't go back in and save it. So I'm just going to give this little quick tip. I'm going to just accept this, guys. I'm not even trying to do that again. We are going to go ahead and just go somewhere else, like anywhere else, right? Like, let's just go to, I have to go farm more goblins, so let's go to goblin. And I'm going to bring in those people, then save that as a preset. So goblin, sure, let's go in there. We're going to get rid of my goblin team for a second. And we're just going to throw them in there. If you guys do the same thing I do, and you accidentally forget to save, I always do this. Don't forget to save at least afterward, okay? Don't forget to save afterward. So here we go. There is the team. Let's resave my necro team. This is necro 1. Let's get rid of these people. Let's edit. Line up. Nope. We're getting rid of you. We're getting rid of you. We're getting rid of you. You can see I tried doing all these like hard combinations, like fancy people. I felt like, I'm like, it's gonna work, right? No, it didn't work, honestly. It really didn't. It worked better with this basic 2 rares, 3 epics, free hero with Kirza team, right? Save team. Okay. Did that save the equipment? So no, I don't think so. All right, we have this. Oh, it did. Or did it? Use this team. But then we want to save over the equipment. Okay. Yes, so we have Kirza in, like I said, the Cyril set built for some damage, but she is in Witch's Remain. So other than that, I did try to get some damage on her with attack and crit rate. Zarloth, I actually tried to boost Adri's damage by giving the pipe, which you don't need. You can just give the damage thing to Zarloth as well. But he's all skilled up. He's kind of built for damage. And I did not build him with a ton of accuracy because I figured I would just let him be a damage dealer, and the girls got it covered with all the ultimate energy stuff, and the recharging speed penalty kind of comes in right here with a couple others anyway. And oop, did I really just... I accidentally did not say that properly. Necro 1. Necro 1. Use. Save. There we go. That's the right team. There we go. We're missing somebody. But yeah, Megan with the life spindle's pretty good. I always want to call this the needle. I don't know. It's too many words. But she's really good with this. And yeah, ancestral protection lets her take the heat off the others. She's just built with defense and HP as much as possible. And Adri, I did use the horseshoe on because I needed as much crit damage as possible. And that was my best way to get some. And the attack speed, I think that's what I saw Pip use too. I can't remember. But yeah, she's in like crit rate, crit damage kind of gear. I didn't have the good rolls on this. I wanted to try using this set, but I didn't have that many good rolls as far as like crit rate goes. Like I didn't have any triple crit rate rolls for these other pieces. And so my crit damage was kind of shaky. I should say even more so, I didn't have any crit damage runes with crit rate, so that's something you kind of need. But yeah, this is a little bit of a overview of my team as well, but this is how you beat Shai'Nachtan, guys. You just gotta bring in control as far as the ultimate energy goes instead. Don't worry about trying to have perfect timings and putting tons of skill haste on people so they can, you know, perform at exactly every 18 seconds, because it's not necessarily ideal. And so many of those heroes that are so good for Shai'Nachtan are actually the rares. They're actually the epics, and they're the people that mess with ultimate energy anyway, so it'd be really hard to time. Of course, you can try to time certain things for the end if you are using someone else. Like, if you are using Quaesitia and she has attack penalty on her ultimate, you could try to time that right before the boss goes. But honestly, I think the rare team feels better. I had a harder time keeping everybody alive. Toward the end, maybe I should have started to try to manual a couple times at least for Kirza to do attack penalty ahead of time to have this covered for the ultimate if that's what killed someone. But I think the person started dying. I think we had our squishy nuker. Oop, where'd she go? Where's Adri? We had our squishy nuker. Yeah, she's pretty squishy. Only 1300 defense, 40,000 HP. Not the best. We had her die first, so that was not from the ultimate. That was from the randomness of those other hits. So that's just gonna happen later in the battle anyway. But yeah, hope you guys like this little showcase on how to beat Shai'Nachtan. It really is not necessary, as you might think, to dispel debuffs if you just have a good team comp otherwise. So that's really nice to see, honestly. But you certainly should experiment as well. If you have some of those OP legendaries, go ahead and use them. But don't underestimate the power of the rare as the main DPS and the rare as the tank, which is the most important role probably. So it's a really cool, clever team and a nice type of setup. Keep that in mind when you fight your Shai'Nachtan, and good luck. And hope you guys get that 22 mil as well.